Okay, hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in once again to the Black Box Podcast. Right now, still exploring the disappearance of Joan Risch, who disappeared from Lincoln, Massachusetts in October of 1961. And this is the sixth upload that I have done on this case, and those, of course, are easily available here on YouTube. And if you somehow by chance clicked this one first, you probably have some familiarity with the disappearance of Joan Risch. So let's get right to it, because today is a very specific one, going to look at the car that was reported being found and sighted in Joan Risch's driveway on the date of her disappearance. And the very basic description that we have of the car is a General Motors model, dirty and two-tone, with one of the colors being blue. Now, this is something that is very interesting because a lot of the theories that formulate on the internet about Joan Risch really involve this car, and they're just saying so many different things, like this is a man she was having an affair with, and he came in the house and they were drinking beer together and an argument happened, or in a more simple note, that this is the car that helped her escape. They've also tried to identify this car as being that of an abortionist who came in the house and was performing an illegal abortion still illegal in 1961, and then Joan went into shock, and then the doctor, or whoever was performing the abortion, had to take her into that car, and then they had to drive away. So, one of the things that I find very, very interesting is the police have no real interest in this car. And we're talking about the police from 1961. You know, it's like the short story is the police completely dispelled all witness claims to that. That's why I was always so surprised that people were basing so many theories on this car, because when I first evaluated the case, I just kind of went along with the police narrative and brushed it aside. And, and I was watching the Kaylee Elise special on the disappearance of Joan Risch. I was like, what? That's... like, what are you talking about? And I had to go back and look at some of the older notes and some of the articles. I was like, I completely overlooked the car, because to me it didn't really stand out, because the police dispelled it completely. And what are they talking about? Their explanation is that this two-tone colored car, one of the colors being blue, actually belonged to a police officer, and that the witnesses are simply mistaken, meaning one of the first police cars that arrived on the scene was a blue unmarked police car, blue two-tone unmarked police car, belonged to the police. They apparently the police say that they know where that car came from, and that the witnesses are simply confusing the times, saying that no, this was not before Joan's disappearance, this came after. So when I was trying to sort of formulate my own theory and my own hypothesis about what happened to Joan Risch on October 24th, 1961, it might sound weird, but I'm inclined to believe the police narrative in this one. And there are a lot of things that are mentioning this car in a lot of online theories that are all about this could be a murderer, this could be someone helping her run away, this could be the abortion doctor. But the evidence used to support that is all based on witness testimony that is not very clear. I mean, people don't have a very clear time frame for noticing the car in the driveway. And if the police dispel this completely, unless she's having an affair with the police captain, you'd think that that would be like a giant red flag for them or something. Meaning that they should have records. they should have, documentation as to which cars arrived on the scene, which officers arrived on the scene, what car was marked, what car was unmarked. And I will say, though, that one of the sources I was reading was that the police denied the witnesses saying that this about the unmarked police car, and the witnesses insisted the police were wrong. They said they wanted to stand by their story, saying, no, we saw an unmarked two-tone car in the driveway prior to the time that Joan would have disappeared, and this car was, at least one of the colors was blue. I don't really know what to make of that, because that's a very sort of vague and kind of ambiguous pathway to go down. However, you would think that the police would not dispel it so easily if they weren't completely certain that that car had nothing to do with the crime scene. If there was a chance at all that these witnesses were telling the truth, then you think the police would be all over that. They would just start looking for all sort of two-tone General Motors cars that are blue and beige, blue and white, all around Lincoln, Massachusetts and the surrounding areas. I don't believe that car really has too much value in this case, and this is why I wanted to do a special upload on it and not mention it in any of the other previous podcasts, because I feel that's mostly a dead end, and I think it really adds a lot to some of the more fantasy elements of this story. People are very quick to start formulating theories about an affair or an abortion, or about having a man in the house that she didn't want her husband to know about. And those things really become the basis of a lot of the more far out theories. However, if that car was not involved, how did Joan get away? And we still, of course, do not have a very clear and direct answer for that one. Otherwise, we would have a lot more evidence. At the same time, though, I just can't shake the fact that the police would have knowledge of what cars were on the scene, and they're saying, no, you're talking about our unmarked police car. We know exactly what car that is. It's just your time frame just must be a little off, which is possible. I mean, people do make mistakes and errors in judgment, and you think if there was the smallest chance in the world that they were talking about a car that did not belong to the police, that would be investigated. The only reason why they would not investigate that if they believed it were if they wanted to conceal it on purpose. And again, that's just, some far out theorizing. There's really no evidence to support she was having an affair with anyone in the police department, or anyone in the police department intentionally wanted to withhold information about the disappearance of Joan Risch. If somebody does have something to say about that, I would love to hear it, though. However, I just do not believe that this car really has anything to do with the case. I find that the police narrative is much simpler and easier to follow, that the witnesses have just made a mistake. Witness testimony is going to be very critical in this case, and the next point to make is really that there is a very high chance that the witness sightings of Joan after she disappeared were probably not as authentic as they sound. For example, one person notices that they see a woman with blood running down her legs walking along either the side of the road or the median of the highway. And I'm like, well, how close were they to her? Were they just passing by in their car and they saw a woman with blood running down her legs? I mean, you can't really get a very good look at someone if you're driving down a highway, even at a low speed, even at, 30 miles an hour. It's like, unless she's been through a gruesome, gory crime scene, you wouldn't. How certain are they that is Joan, and how certain are they saw a woman with blood on her? I mean, So it's like, did they stop and talk to her? Did they stop and have a look? I mean, so again, it's just they're giving very, very specific information. You know, they saw a woman with blood running down her legs, and they didn't stop. We know that. They didn't do anything to help her, and no certainty that that is Joan. That is not a definitive sighting of Joan, and again, we have no definitive sighting of anybody that would have come out of the car if that blue two-tone car would have belonged to anyone other than the police. No one can provide a description of anybody coming out of it, and also no one can confirm 100% that the police are not telling the truth, or the police have made a mistake, that that car belongs to anyone other than the police department. They said it was an unmarked cruiser, and when I first heard the term unmarked cruiser, I was like, what on earth are you talking about? And their simple explanation just is that the witnesses have made a mistake in the time frame, and that car was arriving to respond to the crime scene, to the disappearance of Joan Risch. The police know who that is. They knew that the car belonged to them, and you'd think that that is something that is going to be documented and very easy to review and evaluate. And I just don't think there is enough evidence to support anything in relation to that. I think that it's just some errors in the sort of the perception of witnesses, and that is what this case really all comes down to. Because a lot of the things that I feel are holding back many of the theories rely on the witness testimony of the witnesses spotting Joan Risch at various places throughout the town, as well as the car in the driveway. And when you take all that into account, that the witness evidence is not very definitive and not very easy to corroborate or to uphold, then maybe this story is becoming much clearer, and that the picture is going to come into focus soon, and maybe we can start getting a more clear and cogent theory that we can follow. Anyway, whatever, I'd like to hear more from you guys. You've heard my take. I want to hear any sort of comments and criticisms about the disappearance of Joan Risch. Anything you have to say at all, please feel free to send away. I'm interested in hearing it. Everybody, have a good day. Talk to you next time.